Welcome to Who Yelling Now? I'm Olga Foreign, and this is Season 3, Episode 5, titled Time is Not a Line. Copyright Mackenzie. You ever notice how time hums? Not the clock kind, that little liar on the wall, but the one inside you. The hum that says you should have been further by now. The whisper that counts your days like debt. When I was little, I thought the future was a staircase. Every year you climbed a step. Every dream a higher floor. Nobody told me the staircase was a spiral. That you keep passing the same door. Older, but somehow it still fits your key. Somewhere between birth and burnout, we all agree to pretend that motion equals meaning. We dress repetition in celebration. Call it progress. We invent new slogans for the same hunger. We rename the century and repaint the same hunger's face. So today, let's slow down the illusion. Let's take time off the clock and watch it confess. Let's look at the lie of forward motion. Every civilization tells the same bedtime story. Once upon a time, we were primitive. Then we learned to walk upright through history. But look closer. Our footprints keep circling the same fire. We burn, rebuild, rename. We call it growth because the ashes looked arranged differently. They told us the future waits ahead. But ahead of what? What if the future is just the past taking another route to reach you? I've met prophets in startup hoodies and conquerors with mission statements. Same sermon, this time will be different. Spoiler, it never is. The first clock wasn't even a clock. It was a shadow. Someone watched a stick move across the dirt and called it progress. Maybe that's where the lie began. In the dirt. With someone mistaking movement for miracle. We move fast because stillness exposes how small we are. We call that anxiety productivity. We call that loop destiny. But sometimes when the street light flickers and the world sighs between minutes, you can feel it. The repeat, the deja vu in the DNA. Maybe that's why nostalgia sells better than the truth. Because deep down, the truth knows it's been here before. My friends, listeners, subscribers, yellers, enemies, the story of the clockless people is one I am going to share with you. Before there were calendars, before there were kings, there were people who told time by remembering. They said the world has ended 4 times and begun 4 times again. Not new worlds, remembered ones. They said nothing dies. It only circles back wearing different dust. I heard the Hopi speak of it once, how there is no ancient us. There is only us, forgetting ourselves and returning. In their stories, the first people built cities from light. The second carved music from stone. The third harnessed storms. The fourth, our world, built wires that carried thought faster than breath. Each time we called it new. Each time the earth called it again. The elder said, "You think your machines make you gods, but they are your old prayers finally answering back." The elder smiled like a man who has already met the internet in a dream. Maybe that's what technology really is. The echo of an earlier imagination. We invent what we once forgot. We rediscover what we already were. So, when someone says, "This has never been done before," I imagine the ancestors chuckling softly, dusting off the memory of their own smartphones made of stone and sky. They say time moves forward. But in one desert, time grew tired tired of the lie. So it left a message in the form of a child. This story is about remembering. She was born at dawn, wrapped in yellow cloth, eyes wide open. Not crying, just looking as if she recognized the sun. The midwife whispered, "She remembers." As she grew, the girl spoke of places the elders knew only from dreams. Cities of glass that hummed like bees. Men who carried lightning in their palms. Voices trapped inside small black stones. She said, "We built those once. We called them miracles, then forgot their names." The villagers laughed. They said, "Child, you are mixing stories." But when she drew a circle in the dust and placed a single stone at its center, the air shimmered. For a moment, they heard a faint music, a song made of code and wind. She told them this was not the first world, that we had done all this before. Loved, built, destroyed, prayed for peace and speed at the same time. And when the world grew loud enough to drown out its own heartbeat, it folded back on itself and began again. The elders called her memory in flesh. They feared her smile because it looked like deja vu. One day, she stood on a hill at sunset and said, "Tomorrow is only yesterday with better marketing." Then she laughed, the way a child laughs after telling a secret too big for adults to hold. Let's pause for a poem. This one is titled, "The First Clock Was a Mirror." The sun bowed low, and the man mistook the bow for time. He drew a circle, named it hour, then built a cage for it, called it tomorrow. Each tick a promise, each promise a debt, and every second since has been us chasing ourselves around the same reflection. Let's explore time and continue with our story. The girl who remembered before. They say every age has a color, and this one began in yellow, the color of recall. She was born in the fifth world, the one that rises when the fourth forgets its lessons. The elders kept counting by the stars. 4 times the world had bloomed and burned. 4 times humanity had called its ruin progress. When the 5th dawned, a child arrived, already remembering the first 4. Her mother said she came out smiling, eyes fixed not on faces but on horizons, as if she saw the old worlds lined up like mirrors. The midwife shivered and said, "This one was not sent to begin. She was sent to remind." The girl grew quickly, quiet but radiant. A yellow dress always fluttered like sunlight that refused to age. She spoke names no one taught her: Atlantis, Orona, Seychelles, Dainta, and claimed she had lived in them all. When she was 7, she walked east and found a village carving stone for shelter. She drew shapes in the dust, arches, columns, ways to build that breathe with the wind instead of against it. They called it magic. We call it architecture. When she was 10, she crossed mountains to a tribe that feared sickness. She mixed herbs with song, showed them how to boil time itself, how patience heals what panic worsens. They called her medicine. We called it science. At 12, she found priests arguing about the heavens. She laughed and said the stars were not gods, but memories, souls who finished the loop and stayed to guide the rest of us home. They called her blasphemous. We called it spirituality. She left traces everywhere. A curve in a temple that still catches sunrise. A symbol hidden in a healing chant. A question buried under every invention. Wherever she went, she warned the same thing. Do not confuse faster with wiser. Do not call repetition evolution. The future is the child of your unlearned yesterday. But the people loved forgetting. It made the day feel lighter. So they built monuments instead of memories. When the noise of their triumphs grew too loud, she climbed the tallest dome and whispered, "Tomorrow is only yesterday with better marketing." Then she laughed, the sound of a circle closing. Some say she walked into the horizon and became the line itself. Some say she waited at the edge of every new era, watching to see if we will finally keep what we learned. No one knows what became of her. Some say she became light. Some say she still wanders in every age, in every loop, wearing the same yellow dress, collecting the pieces of stories we swore were new. So when you feel that strange pull, that deja vu tugging at your sleeve, the sense that you have lived this moment before, maybe it's her tugging gently at the edge of your memory, reminding you that time doesn't move, it circles. Perhaps it's her, the girl in the yellow dress, reminding you that time doesn't move, it remembers. Dear listeners, friends, history has amnesia. You know it, and I know it. History is a forgetful God. Every empire thinks it's original until the mirror cracks and they see Rome wearing new sneakers. I used to wonder why textbooks feel like bad reruns. Same plot, discovery, dominance, downfall. Different actors, same lines. Maybe the historians are tired of rewriting the script. They just change the wardrobe and hit replay. Every generation swears they've escaped the old mistakes. Then they build new versions with better marketing. We don't erase power, we rebrand it. Now, with 30% more freedom. Democracy. Deluxe edition. Sometimes I think time runs a small business called Revolution and Sons. Every century, we invest again. And again, it goes bankrupt. And again, we are surprised. Here's a small poem called Same Drum, Different Parade. I marched for justice. My grandmother marched for peace. My great-grandfather marched for bread. Different banners, same blistered feet. Different chants, same drum. The parade always turns the same corner, right into history's mouth. So, I guess I'm saying civilizations loop like playlists. We skip songs pretending we were making progress. But the melody, that arching need to rule something, name something, own something, always comes back. Even technology, that shiny oracle, she's just fire in a prettier dress. She burns slower, but she burns. And when the ashes cool, someone will say again, this time will be different. The tragedy isn't that we repeat. It's that we forgot that we repeat. Amnesia has become the national anthem of every century. Have you noticed collectively, globally, we are forgetting faster than our ancestors? Maybe history doesn't want to be linear. Maybe it's begging us to notice the loop, to step sideways instead of forward. Because if we can't remember where we have been, how will we know when we're finally somewhere new? Let's address the myth of progress. Progress. Our favorite bedtime story. We tuck ourselves in with headlines that say, "New discovery, new dawn, new world order." But most mornings, it's the same sunrise pretending to be reborn. I used to believe progress, as I said before, was a ladder. Now I see it's a carousel with better lighting. Every ride promises escape. Every turn delivers deja vu. I've seen progress wear a lab coat and a crown in the same week. He's charming. He gives TED Talks, tweets, optimism, and still can't fix loneliness. They said invention would save us. It saved data instead. Now even our silence is monetized. Our grief curated into content. We built machines to outthink us, but forgot to outfeel them. So, is there a solution? Let's think about why we keep naming the same year. The calendar died again. We buried it under a new logo. 1999 called itself 2029. Put on electric sneakers and ran the same race. The poets still prophesy. The rich still recycle wars. The children still inherit alarms, wrapped in pretty notifications. Every decade vows, "I will not become my father," and every decade does. Every empire wants to be remembered as evolution, never repetition. But the fossils don't lie. They're just archived mistakes. Progress isn't evil. It's impatient. It wants the bloom without the root. It loves the light, forgets the soil. Sometimes I imagine time as a tired archivist. He stamps every century duplicate and slides it into the same dusty folder marked human attempts. Still, we keep filing new entries because maybe this copy, just maybe, will end differently. So you're saying by now, is this a global loop we're trapped in? So let's get personal. Let's talk about personal loops. It's not just nations that repeat. People do. Hearts have their own orbit. I once loved a man who felt like deja vu. Every word he said, I'd already forgiven in another lifetime. Sometimes I think love is just history rehearsing tenderness before the next war. We promise, I've learned my lesson. Then the next heartbreak hums the same melody, and our bodies dance back into the flame like we missed the burn. My grandmother's tomorrows were like this. She prayed in the same accent I dreamed in, called her hopes next year. I call mine someday. She hid her grief behind recipes. I hide mine behind deadlines. Different kitchen, same hunger. Wanting tomorrow to taste better than the rerun of today. Families loop too. We inherit silence like jewelry, worn for formality, never comfort. Our mothers teach restraint. Our fathers teach endurance, and nobody teaches release. It's a generational curse. Generational curses are just history majors with good attendance. We replay childhood scenes until forgiveness feels like background music. Then, one day, you look in the mirror and realize you have become the echo you swore you'd silence. Maybe that's the cruel gift of memory. It's never gone, just retitled. Time doesn't heal, it rebrands. Our scars are just older logos. But in those moments, those rare seconds when you pause mid-loop, you can feel the hinge between past and possible, the breath between mistake and mercy. I used to call that fear. Now I call it awakening. If you've made it this far with time and me, let's discover how we could possibly break the spiral and leave. Every circle wants an exit. But not all exits lead out. Some just widen the loop. I started to wonder, what if time isn't chasing us? What if it's waiting for us to stop running long enough to hear it breathe? There's a kind of quiet that doesn't feel like ending. It feels like arrival. It happens when you stop measuring the moment and start tasting it. Here's a poem called "The Circle That Learned to Breathe." I stood in the loop until the loop stood in me. Every repeat whispered, "You can leave by loving what is here." The circle widened, turned into horizon, and the horizon exhaled. Maybe freedom isn't linear either. Maybe it's an inhale, a rhythm, a willingness to forgive gravity. Maybe that's all time ever wanted. Not worship, not progress, just participation. Imagine the universe looking at us like a patient teacher, saying, "Stop trying to win me. Just learn me." We keep mistaking acceleration for evolution. But the next stage of humanity might just be stillness. If tomorrow came to you and said, "What have you done with yesterday?" what would you answer? Would you list the task, or would you say, "I listened, I remembered, I chose not to repeat"? Faithful ones, my fellow yellers, here is the listener's challenge for you. If time is not a line, then every mistake is still reachable. So is every miracle. You can touch your childhood from here. You can rewrite a silence. You can pause a war inside your own chest. Next time the clock tries to bully you, just smile. Tell it you know its secret, that it's been walking in circles this whole eternity, pretending to be a god. I don't believe in forward anymore. I believe in around. I believe in through. I believe in again. Until again becomes aware of itself and lets go. This is Who Yelling Now? And if you're listening, then maybe the echo finally found a listener. See you in the next episode.